Hi everybody, I'm federated chess player PeterLalic, presenting number 10 video lecture in our chess endgame course. I recently saw a fascinating educative example given by Grandmaster Carsten Mueller, the famous German endgame specialist, and I suppose it's so useful for us as improving players or whatever strength we are, because it includes some key endgame themes. If you know these, you could win a drawn game or draw a technically drawn game or even a lost game. Okay, you need to get the most out of your position, and that's pretty much what we want to do by looking at this very instructive example. So let's see. This could seem elementary and easy for black to draw, but there's one key difference: the position of these rooks. The point is that with this white rook on the A file and this black rook on the B file, black has only two squares between him and the opposing king. This is about checking distance, which I discussed earlier, and I highly recommend that you revisit, if you haven't already done so, one of my older videos. I suppose this was number 8, in which I studied checking distance. So checking distance is essential, and the more squares the better, and frequently when there's only two, then that's critically bad. So really black draws if we switched around the positions of the rooks, and in that case this black rook would have a grand total of 3 squares, and that would be sufficient to draw. So for that reason, white is winning. He's completely won, whether he's with the move or whether it is black to play. Of course, when I say it's completely won, that is if you know the correct method. So there are some complexities, and it makes it such a beautiful example because there are two key themes. Those are triangulation and Zugzwang. Excuse me. Just to give a quick definition of Zugzwang. It is a German word, and I don't know German, but essentially it means the obligation to move in chess, and when this player who is in Zugzwang is forced to play the move, then any move he plays results in a deterioration of the position or the loss of the game, essentially because he weakens himself so much. And let's just look at this from black's perspective. So with black to play, he's lost because his king is ideally placed and so is his rook, and if he moves any of these, he weakens his position, and it gets worse, and so this endgame becomes indefensible, and I'll show you why. If the rook moves, let's say to c8, then rook a1 wins, because after, let's say, rook c7 check, note there's only one square between these two pieces, then king d8, rook b7, and e7 wins completely on the spot. I mean, after king f7, then check is sufficient, and this is just game over. So going back, that's why the rook cannot move, and if black were to play here king g8, then let me see, then king d7 doesn't look so good, I guess, because of rook b8. I'm just trying to work this out at the board actually. The point is that rook a1 seems strong now. Clearly if rook c7 check, king d8, then white makes too much progress, and black just allows this pawn to queen. Yeah, okay, so rook a1. Yeah, this has to work, since after king g7, then rook g1 check, thank you much. This rook is banished from the G file, and so it's very simple to win. It's just game over. And note, it's quite embarrassing that checking distances is very bad in this position as well. Excuse me, in this position as well. And that's just a sample variation. Maybe I should have played Rook A8 for black, but it's still completely game over. So going back, if we can conclude that nothing works for black, then with white to play, we need to get this position, but with black to play. And that's the idea of using triangulation. Very, very important theme. Very complex. So, most strong players use this in endgames. It's something that's quite hard to appreciate, but the ultimate objective is to reach this position, as you see it right now on YouTube, with black to play. So if we're playing with white, then we need to triangulate, and it's a maneuver with the king. Essentially, we want to go to d6 to d7 and then to e7, when really black would use only 3 moves to get back, or would use only 2 moves to get back to g7. For example, to f6 and then to g7. I'll just give you an example. King d6, king f6, king d7 attacking rook, which must move. Oh, excuse me. Okay, that's a bit weird. I've just realised something. This is the position. My apologies. In this position, with white to play, king d6, king f6, king d7, excellent move, king g7, king e7, and what do you know? Have you noticed? I've just played king to e7, which means it's black to play. And then, as we've seen, a move like king g8 doesn't work, so only king g7 remains. So that's the point. White can always reach this position with black to play. Now black to play, and now king g6. And now we have to analyse this all again. Why is this losing for black? Well, now he cannot reach e8 the best way. Let's just look at this. He would have to come via f7 and via f7 to e8, whereas on g7 he had to come via just f8, and that's the point. As we see, after king g6, we're controlling f7, so he has to come via this route, which is harder. And now let's see how we can win this for white. Okay, I'm going to have to think about this. I'd say that, just remembering that it's harder for black to get his king back, we should play rook a1. And now remember the bad checking distance. That's why rook b7 doesn't work, because this threatens e6 to e7. By the way, if king f6 here, then e7 still wins, I believe, since taking loses the rook. Okay, I just made a mess of that. So if that loses to that, then yeah, after rook b8, king d7, king d7, check, king d6, now check now here. I think this is the difference, because after rook e6, king d8, we once again see that resource, tactical resource. Check, pick up the rook. So going back, after king d8, black has trouble stopping this pawn. And now I believe that this is kind of Lucena position, and I'll just show you. If rook b6, then king f8. Okay, that was a bit confusing. Hopefully my analyses were correct then. I'm just doing this from my own experience. So king g6, we play we play now rook a1. And that's why it's winning, I guess, because note the difference. If this rook were on the a file, then he would have 3 squares of checking distance, and we couldn't do this nice attack, as we can see here, after rook b8 check, king d7, rook b7, king d6, rook b6, king c7. It wouldn't work there, because if this rook were on the a file, then you see it's still check, and after a king coming to b8 or so, then this rook can take the pawn.